I'm going to try to make as many videos as what I can, and just in case they try to kill me. Um, my name is Crystal Torres. I'm a human trafficking survivor, still surviving. My family was human trafficked in Chicxulub, Alaska, 2019. The CIA, I would say the handler, government paid handler's family is in multilateral government agencies and has ties to the FBI and the CIA. So this is how this has all come about, to where they have used coercive control to restrict me. Even after, the death of my son and me fleeing to where I'm at now. But to back it up, my son was being psychic drived, and people would probably wonder, what does that mean? Psychic drive is where they repetitively keep a tape recorder, or they did this back into the 50s, and you can find information out of the CIA's declassified information, where Dr. Cameron was running Mind Control Ultra projects, and they were covering it up with like universities. This is how they were doing it. So this is what was being done on my late son, who was disabled and had autism, prolonged QT of the heart, and muscle dystrophy. We're not the only family that this has been done to. We're probably the only ones that have actually stepped forward, whoever was left they didn't kill, to step up and just say the truth of what's happening. Their family has been running operations from Mexico to Missouri, Louisiana, Texas, Las Vegas, and Alaska. Very well connected. They wield a bunch of power through the government. And I'm not saying the government knows about what they do. They are rogue. It's a rogue organization, and they could use their badge to do whatever they want when they want. Most of our government, is good. But there's probably like 10% of the government that's not good, that are rogue. Um, so, I don't see most of our government that, as a little kid, wanted to be into law enforcement, to go help people. Most of our government is good. But we have 10% that is absolutely sinister, evil, and corrupt. Now, I want to talk about some things because I feel like, God is putting it on my heart to tell my testimony, even though I pay dearly for even speaking out. They basically, I have footage of my son, my late son, filming himself being psychic drived. He would say the stuff on a repetitive loop that didn't make any sense. And he was telling me that he was being attacked by energy weapons, and there were drones that were being flown in the back river, probably not even 100 feet away, maybe 200 feet away from his place. I was taken to the main house, and my kids were put into field houses. So I was not able to see my kids. So this is what was really happening. And, I I think that, in my case, is who is the spider that has, done this. And even though that I feel like he was maybe put into a family where he didn't want to have all this happening, I feel like he still had a choice to not, human traffic my family and do the things that he was doing. So there's a lot of stuff. It's just really, really crazy. It really is. My story is pretty crazy, and 10 minutes really doesn't give it justice. But psychic driving is where they repeatedly will either put, like back in the 50s, they would put a recorder in someone's pillow and do psychic driving on a loop. Well, now they have this brain computer interface, and we've all have breathed this smart dust. Everybody needs to seriously, seriously check this out. I heard about it in class in 2014 when one of my classmates, um, her name is Snow, and you can find her in Chino Valley, Arizona. If you pull up a newspaper article about the chemtrails, she's in the paper. Um, she ended up having a plane pass her up, and she called her neighbor out, and the plane circles back and chemtrails her again. She was smart. She ended up grabbing a container, and I guess they kept doing this to her. So she grabbed a container and she put the whatever this material that was left on her fence post, she ended up scooping it up and bringing it into an independent lab. And what they found in the independent lab was astonishing. They ended up finding barium, iron, cobalt, and nickel. Now, when you go look up magnetic electrical nanoparticles, this is what's in it. This is what's in a nanoparticle. So we're basically being chemtrailed with this stuff that's falling out of the sky. I don't care if you know who you are at this point. You could be, a baby and have, already been exposed to this. You could be carrying your kid from the car seat in your car to the grocery store and it's already landing on your kid. Your kids could be at the park or wherever, and these chemtrails are poisoning your children. They're already in your system, and once they're in there, they're embedded. So they're using this voice to skull technology that's been around since the 90s. But really it came online in 2000. And they're using that to control people. Once they're able to link the smart dust that's already into your body to their computer interface, now they can control your body. This is what, and not just that, it's already being implemented into supply chain logistics. It's being implemented into pharmaceuticals for drug administration. Now, when I was in New Mexico, and I'm going to run out of time, I'm going to elaborate. I ended up having, when I ended up escaping back out of here, I ended up, and this would have been November, I left November 2022. I ended up, by January, when I landed in Arizona, I ended up going to New Mexico and thought it would be better there because I was being targeted by planes and everything else. Havana weapons. And a Havana weapon's way different. It's almost like a sonic boom hitting your ear, like that. It's like a sonic blast, and it's very discombobulating and hurts your brain, and it does a lot of damage. So this is basically what's been happening to me my whole entire trip, as I'm being targeted for talking about human trafficking. And when I'm in New Mexico, I'm seeing planes, and he's, where I was at, he says, no, I don't have no planes. And he was out in the boondocks. There would be no reason for planes to be passing like they were. Well, I was getting 5 to 7 planes a day, back and forth circling, dropping chemtrails, and I could see these little clear tiny bubbles. And these little clear tiny bubbles had these little like chips I could see with these little wires hanging from it. Well, I went in there and tried to vacuum it all off of me. I didn't know what it was, but God told me, like, this is bad. Like, don't let this stuff land on you. And I ended up being targeted so bad the next, either it was that night or the following night, that I almost had to go to the emergency room with severe pain to my brain. Now, with this type of wires, on the wires, they could put medicine. They could adjust your serotonin levels, your dopamine levels. They could adjust, they could put bacteria on it, COVID on it, Ebola on it, and administer it to everybody with the push of a button. So whatever they're chemtrailing in the air, with the push of a button, you could have a bacteria. And this is what they're doing to us. It's very serious. You can find information on YouTube. It's called MENS, Magnetic Electrical Nanoparticles. So I would most definitely check it out. This is probably the biggest threat to humanity.